Brazil has declared war and joined the United Nations. Just what does this mean to the people of the United States and to our fighting allies? We have gained a powerful new friend in Brazil. Brazil's territory covers 47% of the South American continent. 250,000 square miles larger than the United States proper. Larger than all Europe, excluding Russia. But let's look beyond the map. How can Brazil and her people help us to win the war? Well, there are more than 45 million Brazilians, which is a third of the population of the United States. We have been friends in times of peace as well as in times of war. Once before, the people of Brazil proved their friendship for the people of the United States in a time of world crisis. That was in 1917. The two peoples have much in common. Like ourselves, the Brazilians are very cosmopolitan in character. They are a progressive people with a constitution that guarantees protection to all workers and modern social legislation. They are a sturdy people, from the gauchos of the great cattle ranches, the workmen on the rich coffee and cotton plantations, and the orange groves of her rich valleys and plains to the city dwellers. These Brazilians are in the war all the way. All males between the ages of 18 and 40 are now subject to military duty. An army of 3 million soldiers can be raised without affecting vital industrial activity. Brazil is a land of picturesque and beautiful cities. Its capital is famous throughout the world as a center of culture and the arts. Rio de Janeiro, which means River of January, was named for the month in which it was discovered by a Portuguese explorer in 1531, nearly a century before the landing of the Pilgrim Fathers. Today, Rio is a modern city of more than 2 million population. Its municipal theater is one of the finest opera houses in the world. The Tiradentes Palace has, since January 1942, come to be known as the birthplace of Hemisphere unity, for it was here that the 21 American republics drew up the momentous Rio Charter, a far-reaching agreement of mutual faith, collaboration, and protection. Brazil's merchant fleet is the second largest of the Western Hemisphere, surpassed only by our own. And despite torpedoings by Axis submarines when Brazil was still at peace, these ships will prove invaluable in transporting raw materials to the United States and convoying military equipment to distant theaters of war. Her navy is not large as compared to those of the United States and Great Britain, but it is modern, splendidly officered and manned, and eager for action against our common enemies. These fine ships and fighting men throw the balance of naval power that much further in favor of the United Nations. Already they have seen action against enemy raiders attacking our vitally important South Atlantic supply lines. We may confidently expect that the Brazilian Navy will live up to the high standards it set for itself in the First World War. Backing up its navy is Brazil's large and rapidly growing air force. These splendid new airfields, through the courtesy of our good neighbor and ally, are now available to our long-range flying fortresses and liberators. The efficiency of Brazilian fighting planes and the marksmanship of her pilots has already been admirably proven against marauding Axis submarines pursuing their campaign of terrorism off of her more than 4,000 miles of coastline. Getulio Vargas, Brazil's progressive president, has long been an ardent advocate of inter-American solidarity, military preparedness, and hemispheric collaboration. Under his guidance, the Brazilian army has been rapidly increased, equipped, and trained in all the phases of modern warfare. Brazil's total mobilization and training is already well underway toward that 3 million mark. And by the uncompromising public declaration of its president, this army, as our fighting ally, stands ready to make any sacrifice which our collective security may require. Under government supervision, Brazil is now manufacturing modern aircraft. Other war materials are also being manufactured on production lines patterned after those of our own great plants. As an industrial country, Brazil ranks second to the United States in the Western Hemisphere. And Brazil's fabulous resources and a great variety of important raw materials make her doubly valuable as an ally. Brazil is the hemisphere's second largest producer of chrome ore, so important in the manufacture of high-grade steel. These war factories in the United States use large quantities of Brazilian manganese, highest-grade iron ore, zinc, nickel, and other minerals essential to the manufacture of tanks, machine guns, warships, and other necessities of modern warfare. We need these raw materials to keep our war production plants going all out for victory. Brazil produces a large quantity of bauxite, from which the aluminum used so extensively in our combat planes is made. Brazil is the world's only source of high-grade crystal in substantial quantities, so essential in the manufacture of the electrical, optical, and precision instruments which have such a vital place in modern warfare. She is also one of the world's largest producers of industrial diamonds, used in cutting the hard metals from which machine tools are made. She can produce enough of the basic material for making explosives to supply the entire world. We all know that Brazil leads the world in the output of coffee, but far more important in wartime, the great jungle forest of the Amazon Valley is the cradle of the rubber industry. In 1903, this area supplied more than 3/5 of the entire world's consumption of rubber. The seeds of rubber trees such as these, smuggled out of the Amazon country, shifted the rubber production of the world to the Far East. But that supply of this tragically important product is now among the spoils of war in the hands of the Japanese. However, 1.5 million square miles of wild rubber trees in the friendly Brazilian Amazon basin is again being tapped to supply the needs of the United Nations. Brazil's production of rubber alone may prove to be a decisive factor in winning this war. Yes, Brazil brings much to the Allied cause. Not only the weight of her resources and manpower, but the militant spirit of her people and the reaffirmation of her friendship for the people of the United States. A friendship which we welcome with gratitude and which shall never be forgotten.